everyone, welcome back. I apologize that I missed last week. I have been out of town for a little while and filming got a little behind me. So today we are going to be doing a simple get ready with me. We're going to be catching up on some new makeup that I've purchased and just all around getting back to makeup because I was out of town and I honestly didn't wear makeup while I was out of town, so I kind of need to get back into the feeling of it and just play with makeup today. So before we get started, I would love if you would hit that subscribe button. It would mean so much to me, and we'll get going. So I did go ahead and prime already. I used my NYX Marshmallow Primer. This is part of my project pan, and I was using it pretty good for a little while, and then I stopped, so now I wanted to pick that back up. And then I did get to purchase a little bit more makeup from the Sephora sale. Just a few things, not much. I was just browsing and I was like, ooh, this is still on sale, so let's pick it up. So I did get the Lawless Conceal the Deal Full Coverage Concealer. And I have the Lawless Conceal the Deal Foundation, which I love. I use this quite a bit. So with concealer now, I want to try to wear them together. And then I also picked up the Fenty Beauty Stalk'R Face and Eye Bronzer Highlight Palette. Looks like this. It's got bronzer shades and then 2 highlight shades, and it's used for your face and your eyes. But I'm going to dive into foundation. Again, this is Lawless Conceal the Deal, and I believe I picked up the shade Champagne. I've had this shade for a little while, so it might be a touch light as we get into some warmer months here, but it might still work. It's really runny for how full coverage it is. So I just like to apply it with a brush. I think that'll still work. I'm just going to use what's left on the back of my hand and just blend everything in with my sponge. This just helps remove any brush strokes, and it helps pick up any excess product that doesn't get blended into the skin. So now I'm going to go into the concealer. Again, this is the Conceal the Deal. It's a full coverage concealer, and I picked up the shade Cloud. This looks almost white. So we'll see how well I did. And then I'm also going to be setting with my Givenchy powder because I'm feeling a little rough, and this will hopefully fix anything. But I do one eye at a time, so let's see how light this really is. It's a really cool doe foot applicator. I feel like it picked up a lot of product. It looks pretty light. It does look slightly yellow. A little more yellow than I thought it would. But let's go ahead and blend it out. I like to use my Rare Beauty concealer brush to blend out my concealer. I think that blended out quite nicely. On camera, it looks pretty full coverage, but in my mirror, I think I need a little bit more coverage there. It's a very thin consistency, similar to how the foundation is very liquidy, but it's got coverage to it. I think it layered pretty nicely too. So now I'm going to go ahead and set it with my powder. I think it looks good, so I'm going to go ahead and do this eye. So I am going to apply a little bit in some of my problem spots just to add a little bit more coverage. I don't know, I feel like my skin is acting a little weird today. My nose looks very dry, but that could just be me. Again, I haven't worn makeup in close to 2 weeks. Maybe for a get ready with me after going so long without makeup, I should have used products that I was very familiar with. Although I do like this concealer so far. But I am just going to set the rest of my face with my Givenchy powder. I feel like the Givenchy powder helped a bit. My nose still looks pretty dry, but let's just not look too closely at that. Now I'm going to go into bronzer, and again, this is the Fenty Beauty Stalk'R Face and Eye Bronzer Highlighter Palette. I think this is so pretty. I like that you can use it both on your face and your eyes. So I think I'm going to go into this shade, which is called Private Island. And I've just got a good amount on my brush here, and I'm going to start by warming up my cheeks. But the cool thing about this palette is that it's got a range of tones, so I could probably contour with maybe one of these shades. I'm just not going to do that today. I'm going to warm up my forehead a bit. I'm going to do a little down the nose. and a little under my jaw here. I actually quite like that palette. I ended up just kind of mixing colors. So I definitely used the Private Island shade, this one, but then I also kind of mixed with Caramel Cutie and Cocoa Naughty, which is this shade. So just kind of these three middle shades I was just kind of mixing, and I think it turned out really nicely. It blended very easily. I'm going to save this for later because I do want to try it on our eyes. I think for blush, I'm going to go into one of my older blushes. This is from Cover FX. It's their Monochromatic Blush Duo, and it's in the shade Warm Honey. I have enjoyed this blush very much, so I'm just going to take a bit of these and apply it. I find that to be such a soothing, like very natural, pretty blush. I think today we're just going to do a little bit more of a sun-kissed look. I'm going to take it over my nose. And then I'm just going to blend it out with my sponge so it doesn't look too harsh. And I forgot, this palette also has highlights. So I'm going to go into the lighter shade, which is called Fat Glass, I think is what it's called. And then just apply it to the high points of my cheek. Ooh, that's really pretty. I believe this golden highlight is going to be too deep for my skin tone, but I am really excited to have it in my collection. I think it'll be a pretty eyeshadow as well. And then today for setting spray, I'm going to go into my Rare Beauty Always an Optimist. I did go ahead and prime my eyes. I just used my Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion. But now we're going to go back into the bronzer eyeshadow palette from Fenty, and I am going to go into this medium shade here called Caramel Cutie, and I am just going to start by placing that in my crease area. I have never been one to use my bronzer and my blush also on my eyes, but it also creates a very monochromatic look when you do that. I mean, it's very rare when I do that, but occasionally I get in the mood. But because this palette is for your face and your eyes, I wanted to see how it would work. I think the pigment is really good. I'm going to flip over the brush that I've been using and go into this lightest shade here, which is called Inda Sun. And I'm going to take that on my brow bone and just kind of help blend that first shade. I like this palette so far. I think it's good. Now I'm going to go into my Glamlite Dirty Martini palette. I do want to add some green because I'm kind of in a greenish mood. So I'm going to go into this shade, which is called Olive Lover, and just use my finger like I normally would and apply that to my lid. Now from the Fenty palette, I'm going to go back into this darkest shade here, which is called Thick Mint. And I'm just going to apply this on the outer corner here and help blend the green. And because green and gold go so well together, I am actually going to try this gold highlight shade. It's called Gold Card. And I'm just taking it on a flat brush and I'm going to pop it on the inner portion of my eye here and just kind of have it fade into that green. There is quite a bit of fallout, but hopefully I can sweep that away. It's a very pigmented highlight for sure. I wasn't quite expecting that from the gold shade. But the fallout did wipe away quite easily. So I'm going to go back into this darkest shade here. Again, it's called Thick Mint. And apply that on the outer half of my lower lash line and making sure to connect it to the top lid. And now I'm going to go into the very first shade we used, the Caramel Cutie. Same brush, I just wiped it off on a makeup towel and finish off my lower lash line. So this is the look for now. I'm going to put on some mascara and my brows and we'll come back to finish up the look. I'm definitely feeling better now that my brows and mascara is on. I feel like my look is like completing itself. It's a very trust the process type of day, I guess. But we are going to finish up the lips. I'm going to be using my Jaclyn lip liner in the shade Chai Tea. Obviously, the bronzers are quite warm, so I'm going to keep with the warm tones. So that's with the lip liner. It's a little paler than I thought, but it's still very warm tone. And I'm going to finish up with the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip. This is in the shade Coconut. And I know they just released like a plumping version of this. I don't have it, so this is just like the original one. But you do just like click it up. It's fun. And I think that worked really well with that lip liner. And still very juicy, very hydrating lip. So this is our finished look. I hope you enjoyed creating this with me. Again, it's been a couple weeks since I've done my makeup, and I really just needed to like sit down, get ready with you, and just enjoy the makeup process. I hope I'm not the only one who has days like this. If you do, please share with me in the comments below on how you handle those types of days. You'll also have to let me know if you've tried out this palette from Fenty Beauty and the concealer from Lawless. I would love to know what your thoughts are about these products. Other than that, it was a pretty simple video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. It helps me out quite a bit. Don't forget to ring the bell and hit all on your notifications, and you'll be notified every time I post a video. I'm here on Tuesdays and Fridays, 10 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you!